The principal ore used in the iron and steel production. The mineral used in the manufacture of iron and steel are the iron oxide, which are compounds of iron and oxygen. The main iron oxide mineral are the hematite with 70% iron, which is the most abundant. The limonite with 59.8, also called the brown mineral. The taconite that is low grade iron or contain up 30% with magnetite, which is a black mineral, and the hematite.
Very well. I gonna explain you what is the mixes before to the iron process. The early application of the iron to manufacture the tools and weapons was possible because of the wide distribution of iron ores and the ease with which iron compounds in the ores could be reduced by carbon. For a long time, the charcoal is that part black is made by carbon. The charcoal is the part in the iron when it's liquid. The charcoal was the form that carbon used to reduce the process, as I said. The production charcoal was the form carbon used in the production process. The production and the use of iron became much more winter about 1620. Maybe coke was introduced as the reduction engine. The coke is the normal coke is made in very close to Durango. In Durango, we have an iron mine, but the coke mine is on the Coahuila, more specifically in Torreon. The coke is formed of a carbon formed by a halting coal in the absence of air to remove impurities. The overall reaction for the reduction of iron in a blast furnace is as follows: Fe2O3S plus 3C, that is the product of 2Fe plus 3CO. The actual redundant is CO, which reduce the iron, the Fe2O3 to give Fe1 or CO2. The CO2 in then production back to CO by reaction with excess carbon as the ore, lime, and coke drop in the furnace. Any silicate minerals in the ore reaction with the lime produces a long melting mixture of calcium silicate is called slag, which float on the top of the molten iron. The molten iron is then allowed to run out of the bottom of furnaces, leaving the slag behind. Originally, the iron was collected in poles called pigs, which is origin of the name of pig iron. Is common to use to the industry of iron. That is the process. The next process is when you introduce all the ingredients to make the iron in the heater. So thank you for your attention.
Well, teacher, my name is Emmanuel. I'm going to tell about iron and steel making, device involved in iron production, characteristics, explanation about the operation, or procedures to get metal. Well, we start always in the mine, the majority of time, because we need our iron oxide, because it's the main material to work in this. In the mine, we can have different metals, or in this case, we can have carbon. Well, we will continue. We transfer all the iron of the materials to the factory. And the first step, we put all the materials, in this case the iron and coal, and sometimes we use calc to put in the furnace to obtain the pink iron. In this case, the pink iron is a little iron. It has a lot of carbon, so in this case, this type of iron is wetter than the steel, so we need to do a different works. For example, we put in a refining furnace to remove this carbon and to organize and eliminate the different elements. The majority of time we put a scrap and combine to do a better steel. In this case, we can use different methods. For example, agitation, spoon furnace, ladle injection, and disgassing. Well, later than this, we can move all of these iron to solidify the iron. We need a water. In this case, we cooling the material with water because it's a little better than oil or different types to do this. And finally, we pass to the rolling process, where different products will be made with this steel, or we make a bar to transport to a different factories.
Operating conditions vary of the type of steel. In case of the carbon steel, it is necessary to work with toted iron and carbon at 1650 degrees Celsius temperature in order to eliminate harmful substances, and working with a concentration from 0.02% to 2.11% of carbon. On stainless steels, the concentration graded at 50% of chromium or nickel at 1400 degrees Celsius temperature, and then slowly cooled them with water. In low alloy steels, the concentration of additional elements must be less than 0.5% by weight. And finally, the tool steels, you must work with temperature manipulation between 760 degrees Celsius to 845 degrees Celsius, and the carbon concentration will depend on the group. For example, the group S concentration of 0.5% carbon and 1.5% chromium, and the group A 1% of carbon and 5% chromium.
Products and waste gotten in operation of the process. Iron and steel production. After the iron warms up, it passes to the rolling mill. At this stage, iron is not yet usable as it must be transformed into commercial products by means of lamination or hot forging. In a simple way, we could describe lamination as a process in which the semiconductor is placed between two rollers or cylinders, as we can see in this picture, that rotate at the same speed in the opposite direction, reducing the cross-section thanks to the pressure exerted by them. This process takes advantage of the ductility of the steel, and there that the hot rolling is carried out at temperatures between 1250 degrees at the beginning of the process and 800 at the end of the process. Once this process is done, a commercial product already comes out, and the surplus or waste can be reused. Iron and steel waste is not dangerous. This because iron, like most metals, is easily recycled as it does not lose its qualities or qualities when recycled. The main limitation for recycling problem lies in the presence of contaminants. The iron melts into special furnaces and the pure iron is extracted for reuse. For the last, iron recycling is very important environmentally. This because we need to reduce the greenhouse infected gas emissions. The iron and steel industry is estimated to be responsible for the 607% of total CO2 emissions. Thank you.
One of the other things that we can keep in mind is the deep desulfuration of synthesis fuel gas in iron and steel work based in low temperature oxidation. There is other way to see that process. The deep desulfuration method is sintering through a gas based on the low temperature oxidation method is studied based on the analysis of main principle of the deep desulfuration of sintering fluid gas. A deep desulfuration system of sintered fluid gas is constructed which is composed of an absorption washing unit and a washing solution treatment unit. That is other example that we can make. That is a problem in the process of the iron having from the earth, because if we use a recycling method that is made by trash, we can select more properties that are excellent for the things that we have to keep in the iron.